Many avoidants are what we call serial daters, meaning there is little to no space in between each consecutive relationship. They're always in a relationship of some sort. This is because the avoidant has a low self-esteem. They have a lack of self-worth. They don't know how to internally validate themselves. So they rely on external validation, that attention and desire they get from a new partner that makes them feel better about themselves in the moment. It gives them that dopamine, that oxytocin rush, the feel-good hormones that are firing off in their brain like crazy, especially early in a relationship, that masks their inner pain. Because avoidants, well, they're avoiders. They avoid. They avoid processing and dealing with any difficult emotions, any painful emotions, any internal issues and attachment wounds. They've learned from childhood that you don't handle your problems, you run from them. You take your emotions, you suppress them, and you run from your problems. So, serial dating is a way for them to avoid. The new relationship, well, it distracts them. It distracts them from having to process and deal with any painful emotions of the past or any hurt that they caused to previous partners. It also gives them that dopamine rush. It makes them feel better about themselves in the moment. That dopamine does a very good job of masking internal pain. Serial dating is actually a method of avoidance. It's a way of avoiding the painful breakup that you just went through. It's a way of avoiding the attachment wounds of the past. It's a way of avoiding doing any of the work towards healing. Because processing emotions is something that avoidants do not like to do. They take their emotions and they suppress them rather than process them. And it can be a very painful thing when you've been discarded by an avoidant and you see them immediately back on dating apps or in a new relationship immediately. It makes you feel like you never mattered anything to this person. But here's the reality of somebody who's severely avoidant. They don't allow that deep bond, that deep love to form. They keep it surface level. This is because they fear emotional intimacy. They fear emotional intimacy because they fear abandonment, they fear rejection and engulfment. These are all things they've learned to associate with relationships. If things get too close, they're going to get hurt, they're going to get abandoned, they're going to get rejected, and they're going to lose their independence to this person. They are very afraid of that. They learned it from childhood, that people that you rely on for your emotional needs are going to let you down. They're going to disappoint you. But because the avoidant doesn't know how to internally validate themselves, they don't know how to feel good about themselves, they rely on that external validation to numb their pain, which is why many of them don't like to be in any stretch of time without that validation, meaning they feel like they always need to be in a relationship to feel better about themselves. Plus, it helps them from having to process the emotions and the pain that they caused their previous partner when they discarded them. It's all very selfish, it's self-absorbed behavior because they're only thinking of themselves, they're only thinking of what makes them feel better about themselves in the moment. But serial dating actually causes the avoidant more long-term pain. Because of their low self-esteem and their lack of self-worth, they feel bad about themselves. And when they hurt each partner, it confirms to them that they are in fact bad people, which is what the avoidant will often tell themselves. When they confirm this, they feel worse about themselves, but then they seek the same behavior, the same external validation as the way to fix feeling bad about themselves. It becomes a self-generating cycle, just keeps on going and going and going until the avoidant decides to pump the brakes, work on their inner attachment wounds, which should include therapy, and commit to a change in behavior, which is a very difficult thing for an avoidant to do because it requires self-reflection. Self-reflection means you have to face your fears, face your feelings, which is something an avoidant doesn't like to do. They would actually have to process their emotions, and they'd also have to take accountability, see where they've gone right, see where they've gone wrong, and make adjustments and changes in behavior. It's possible for them to do, but it's difficult because it requires them to process and feel things that they've ran from their entire lives. But until they do that, the cycle of serial dating with severe avoidance, it is likely to continue. Now, not all avoidants are serial daters, but most serial daters are avoidants.